Okay, this is probably the better. It's one of those things where it's the better cut because I had forgotten to mention things. The lighting was bad. It was right when it was sundown, so it was sunset. So it was like going over the books, and it was like starting to really get dark. And it wasn't like too bad. You could still see it, but it was kind of like at that point, I was fine with it. But then like I was thinking more of it, and I was like, nah, I'll just do it today. I probably should have done it today anyways. All right, so let's get on with it. This is a complete November 2022 haul, as you saw in the title. I do this a little bit early sometimes. Like, this is like, it's November 29th? Yes, 29th, so it's not that early. But I don't think I'm getting anything until at least December, and I honestly think that's not gonna be until Christmas, which, I mean, fine. Provided I get what I want, provided I get everything I want on my wish list, I'll get a pretty good stack of books. So let's get right on with it. First one up is the floppies. Here, easier. Is KIlladephia issue 24. Now the problem with floppies for me is like I'm never gonna have the newest issue technically, like because they're already out with issue 25 of KIlladephia, and that was kind of my fault because it took forever to get issue 24. I don't know if my library. I don't know if my local Newbury never had it, my local comic shop never had it, or what. But I took like 3 months to get it, I want to say, and that was when they were on hiatus. And this is what Image Comics does, and I wish they would do more. And I wish they would do more often. I think they have been starting to slowly start doing. So KIlladephia 19 to 24 was collected in the fourth volume. I'm going to say it's 1924, maybe 1824. I'd say that. But that many issues was collected in the fourth volume. I think it was actually 1924. I don't know. Anyways, so when the 24th issue came out, they waited until the trade came out, and then they waited like a week or two, and then they came out with like more than that. And then they came out with issue 25. They gave everyone that's a trade waiter. They gave them enough time if they want to change their mind. Like, you know what, I'm going to be a trade waiter, but also I'm going to get like the next issue, you know. And that's what I really like about Image Comics. Like DC Comics, they're like, nope, the issue's going to come out whenever we want it to come out, and then trade's going to get delayed 500 times, but the issues won't. And that's why like so many DC books I'm like years behind on. Not actual years, but it might as well be. Like DC versus Vampires, the last issue I got was issue 6, and I'm already at issue 11 plus like 2 issues of a spin-off series for it. Maybe even another one. And I think there's a one shot too. So like 14 issues behind, I would say, right? No, sorry, 10 issues behind. But might as well play 14. Next one up is Dark Ride issue 1 and issue 2. Now, right here, this is 50 pages for $3.99. $3.99 should not be the minimum price you pay for a single issue of a comic book. This is a single issue. This is $3.99, right? I can trust not $4.99 because they sometimes make you pay extra for the cardstock variant. But I don't think this is a cardstock variant. So this is also the creative team behind $3.99. I just saw it. So this thin book should not be $3.99. Should not be $3.99. I know I could just be a trade waiter, and I probably will be. So yeah, it's the same creative team behind Birthright, and I really want to see more of that kind of artwork. So I got that, and I just want more Joshua Williamson books. I've not read a thing by Joshua Williamson that I don't like. Everything by him I've loved. Now this is a Frontiersman lockup special. This is spoilers of one of the trades I got. I mean, most of you guys already know because it was also in my Newbury haul. So those of you who saw that video know this. And this is the reason why I do these end of month hauls is just to show everything at once. Because some of you guys didn't at least did not comment on one of my comic haul videos. It was an Amazon haul, so you get to see that now. You know, it's all in one. And it's a way I like doing these Newbury comics. Near Condition does that too. Does that too? And I was like, hey, why not do that? And I started that this year. Surprised it didn't start earlier. But anyways, Frontiersman lockup special. And so if comics have to be $3.99 for minimum price, I don't mind paying $5.99 for a book that's pretty thick. I want to say it's at least the same size as the Birthright issue 1. Which I don't know how that was $3.99. I mean, although they had $2.99 doubled. I think I said it last time. But it was a $2.99 double-sized issue for Saga, which is still the same price as every other issue, which is $2.99. Which they kept it at $2.99. I'll give them that. But it's like the only book I'm getting now that's less than $3.99 minimum price, unless it's a Marvel True Believers reprint, which I haven't. They haven't done that. They've not done True Believers reprints in a long time. They used to do that every month. Like if a series was coming out, like Carnage, when that movie was coming out, I think back then they weren't doing it. No, they did. It was something Carnage was coming out, maybe Absolute Carnage or something like that. Like came out with a bunch of like appearance of Carnage. I was thinking it's the first appearance of this character, this series. And yeah, okay, just one issue, and I don't like doing that sometimes. Like I've kind of like really got annoyed about doing that recently because it's like, oh, now I'm on the series, and I gotta buy another book, but So next two are Antioch issue 1 and issue 2, also by Patrick Kindlon, who did Frontiersman. This is apparently the sequel to follow-up to Frontiersman. I don't know why they didn't call it just call it, at the very least, call it Frontiersman 2 issues 1 and 2, or Frontiersman issues 6 and 7. I think it's 5 issues in the trade, or 7 and 8. Well, however many are collected in the trade go out to that one. It's 5, 6, and 7. But my theory is that I don't know. I haven't read Frontiersman yet. My theory is that they decided to it was like different characters. So they didn't call it because maybe there's a character called Frontiersman. So now it's the characters from that series. I think it's different characters. I mean, I don't know. The Closet issue 3 of 3. There's another one that, one of the trades says 3 issues are collected in a trade that's coming up. I don't know how I can tell a story in 3 issues. But I was thinking it the other day, and I was like, well, think of it as 3 acts of a movie. You know, a movie has 3 acts, and that book that I'm going to show you is 80 pages. So even in an 80-minute movie, that's 26 minutes per act you're splitting up. And if you split it up evenly, because it was 26.66667. But if you split it up evenly like that, and 26 minutes, 26 pages is the average page count for a single issue of a comic. So I guess think of it that way. It makes sense. But and this seems to be a bit thicker too. It seems to be like it's not like maybe it's 40 pages instead of 32. I don't know, but time will tell if they can actually tell a story in 3 issues. Knowing Image Comics, they're gonna give him a second series, a follow-up series, like The Closet 2, 1 through 3, you know, like that, like they did with Peter David for Marvel. Like, they just won't give him like Maestro. They won't let him just do Maestro's 1 through 15. No, he has to do 3 5-issue miniseries, which is really dumb because if anything, that confuses a whole lot of people and probably hurt sales because everyone was like, wait, I already got that one right, and didn't bother to look it up to make sure that they were right. So they missed out on that issue, that series. The next one up is Skullkickers 10th Anniversary Special. Very ironic that this came out when it did, because just last month I got the Skullkickers Treasure Troves Volumes 1 through 3. I am a huge fan of, or starting to be a huger fan of fantasy. And this seems to be right up my alley. It's Dungeons and Dragons. So ironically enough, it's a little bit of story time. There was a lady who was trying to shop her son, and it was right after I stopped. It was right after I was done shopping, which is good because I was already kind of nicked for time, kind of sort of, but I had enough time after. So she was like, "Oh, can you help me? I'm looking for Dungeons and Dragons." It was right after I bought Skullkickers. I would just hand her Skullkickers, say, "Hey, get this," because I'm pretty sure I do. I mean, time will tell. I'm probably this is maybe the first Skullkickers book I read. I will try and read that and see if it can actually just read this. I'm pretty sure it can. I'm pretty sure it's just like it's a one-off. It's a one-shot. Probably it's a one-off story. You don't need to have read any of the Skullkickers. Like I could be a jumping on point if anything. But yeah, right after I bought that, it was the only copy they had. I ended up giving her. We made out pretty well because it's like he likes superhero Star Wars too. So I think Star Wars, not superheroes. So I think I ended up giving her like some Star Wars books. I forget actually. It was because I was gonna give her what was that book that I didn't like, but it was still Dungeons and Dragons. I do need to reread that series. It's on that Prime Video series now. It's animated. Vox Machina, Critical Role. I need to reread that series. When I first read it, I thought it'd be more like darker and like more violent. And it was pretty like cheesy, if anything. I honestly thought it was for kids at first. I was surprised that the TV show got a TV M8 rating because the comic, the artwork made it look like it was a kiddie book. Yeah, I need to get that a second chance. I actually think they still have it on Prime Reading. But yeah, I was gonna give her the first volume, but didn't have it. Newbury Comics sometimes has every single volume of the first volume, or they have like a seven volume series. They have 1 through 5, then 7, no issue 6 of volume 6. Batman and Joker. I didn't understand why. It's probably just someone else bought issue 1 or volume 1 or volume 6. Yeah, Batman and Joker Deadly Duo. Now this is a series that was probably already 8 years in the making. They're gonna make it like 8 years ago, and it went into hiatus. Not just hiatus, it's never got made. And finally, 8 years later, so I'm gonna say 16 years in the making at least. I could be wrong, totally wrong. We finally got Batman and Joker Deadly Duo. Mark Silvestri back doing his unique art style, I would say. Here's some of the artwork. I think he did the artwork. I think he did the artwork for the cover too. Black Label. I noticed that yesterday when I was going over I was doing the first cut. I was like, oh yeah, Black Label. 17 and up. $4.99 though, because it's cardstock variant. It's a 3 thin book. It should not be $5. It really should be. That should be $2.99. The minimum price you should have to pay for a single issue of a comic book like that should be $1.99. I understand $1 more for the cardstock variant, fine. Although this isn't a variant, is it? No, it's not. But it is still cardstock. I get it. It's the Black Label tax. I'll give you that. It should be $1 more. Fine. But it should not be $4.99. It should be $2.99. Imagine how much more money I could save for trades, but I could save if every book I got was $1.99 minimum price. I know I complain so much about it, but it's annoying. Like, you shouldn't have to pay that much. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, you're a sucker, you pay that much. No, I'm paying that much. No, I guess I'm the sucker, but it's really expensive. I know I can be a trade waiter, but I'm not a trade waiter. It's like it's a double-edged sword. Okay, you're gonna wait until. So why you complain if you can just be a trade waiter? Oh, you don't want to wait that long, so you have to get the individual issues. I also can't be a trade waiter because what if there's like 5 books that are out at the same time? KIlladephia, Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Batman Joker, KIlladephia, and Department of Truth. All those are coming out at the same time. They're $15.99 per book, or $16.99 probably. That's a lot of money. And I would rather get this for $4.99, well, for $1.99, but I'd rather get the individual issues, you know, and then when a trade comes out, like, I can get something else for them. It's more like I'm paying $4.99 per issue, but I'm paying for that visit, you know? I'm not paying $16.99 per visit, because I'm gonna get, like, this book, and like, that one comes out next week, so I get that one then, you know, or this week come out, you know what I mean? And Deadly Neighborhood, I hope you know what I mean. Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man is by Taboo, who I think is the Black Eyed Peas. He's something famous. He's a singer. I'll look him up right now, actually. But yeah, it's like, it's a principle of the thing. I understand, like, okay, so why are you complaining if you're just gonna... It's just one of those things that doesn't make any sense. I feel like it's not gonna save the comic book industry by a long shot. But... maybe. Yeah, he's an American singer. Yep, Black Eyed Peas, I was right. I vaguely remember someone saying something about that when they were going over solicits. And I got Spider-Man the Last Hunt. So I got the 2 Spider-Mans. They came out the same week, I think, too. No, they didn't. Oh, they came out. I was saying a week apart. But there was those Spider-Man mini series that are like different, you know. It's because Deadly Neighborhood is supposed to be like a darker interpretation of Spider-Man, or just darker Spider-Man book in general, and Lost Hunt is the lost stories from Kraven the Hunter. I think it's around the time of was my favorite Spider-Man book so far. Like, not so far, but like probably ever, honestly. Next to Ultimate Spider-Man, was Kraven's Last Hunt. Around the time of that. Let's fall down here. So next one up is spell. It's Once in Future issue 30. Why is this thing so weird right now? There we go. All right, Once in Future issue 30. So it was like having like this here, and it was like, oh, let's fall this way, even though we're like shouldn't be falling that way. But this last issue of the series, like not just of this volume, no, that's the entire series itself. Now, 30 issues, I would say, is plenty of time to tell your story. I mean, I get there's books like Sandman, you can't tell in 30 issues. I get that. But, and I'm not saying like every series needs to be 30 issues. I would almost like it to be 50 issues. I think 50 is a good price. A good price is a good number. That, and also like it's 50, it's a bigger number. It's a big number. The Approach, issue 1 by Jeremy Huon. This is not the one I was Comicsology original. I don't know why I thought it would. I don't know why I thought it would. I don't know why I thought it would be. It's something seconds for I think it's like 37, like 7 seconds from him for Comicsology. I wanted more Jeremy Huon. I've really enjoyed the Beauty, at least the first one they've read so far, and I want more already. It's like that series is really damn good. If you don't mind it being a kind of a weird, different kind of story that you might not have picked up if you had heard about the premise from like just in general, then I think you should get the Beauty. It surprised me. Again, like I said, it was a second reread, and I was like, oh wow, it's really good. I want the entire series now. And I bought it for like, actually it was $40. I got it for half off because it was a gift card. I had $40 in gift card, and then I had to pay $40 in my own money. Damn Them All. This is Simon Spurrier's first Boom Studios book. Probably not. But it's Boom Studios series, and I really liked it. I like his writing. And I liked his Hellblazer series. That's really about it though. Like I'm very kind of split in the middle. I didn't like his Coda too much, which is probably blasphemous for me to say that, because especially because I just started getting been getting really into fantasy recently. Yeah, Rat Queens I've read, really like that. What else? I know there's more than just Rat Queens. I'm just trying to Dungeons and Dragons wasn't too bad, at least the Jim Zub run, which is kind of funny because he also did what's the fall again? It's probably just stacked like this. There we go. But Jim Zub also did Skullkickers, which is very Dungeons and Dragons inspired, but I didn't read that yet, so can't say that. But anyways, let's get on with it. Rather than, because we're already 17 minutes in. 7, 8, 9, and 10 of House of Slaughter. And at that point, I may as well have just waited for the second volume to come out, which I think is already out. I think it's already out when I went. But I don't mind getting it in floppy form. And even though I just complained about that. But like, it's one of those books where I'm like, I mean, if I already have a 6th issue, in floppy form, I might as well just get 7, 8, 9, and 10. Because it wasn't, like, it's $3.99 per book. And let's just say I paid $4 for each of them. I know it's $2.19, but say $4 because I get that 20% off discount. 4 times 4 is 16, so it is about the time. But it is about the time. That is about the price of a trade, but it's not, because it's not $15.99. It's $16.99 for volume 2. I think, at least. And so that makes sense. I'm getting 20% off of that, so it's not 16. It's less than that. How much less? I don't know. Probably not a whole lot less. Alright, now on to the trades. The things I actually like getting. I'm actually satisfied with the most of getting. But, like, once in Future 30, I now have all the issues. I don't have to wait until January 3rd to get the 5th volume. I have all 30 issues now, because I'm getting it in floppy form. And I don't miss out. I have a pretty big case of FOMO. I like it when everyone's on a series I'm on, and we're all, like, reading it together, if anything, if you will, Like, oh yeah, this series, yeah, I'm also buying that one. Nice to know that someone else is buying it, and likes it too. Alright, so Ordinary God, Volume 1, Godspark. Pretty thick trade, because I have, like, 6 issues, but there's at least 1 issue's worth of extras at the end. And this is a series that, it's a superhero series, but they say it's superhero, right? No, sorry, science fiction, not superhero. Science fiction. But it's like, he's like a god, but he goes back to the real world, but he's come back because there's something else going on. They say it's for fans of the old god country. So, I like both of those. I like Kyle Higgins. It did not get the best of reviews, though. But I only paid $8.99. Less than that, actually. It was buy one, get one half off for Newbury. So I got this for like $5. And I wanted it for the longest time. The longest time, I was going to pay full price for it. I was going to get it along with some other books, and I was like, okay, whatever. But I'm glad I saw it when I saw it. And I'm glad I wouldn't have seen it if I didn't go to the bargain bin section. If I didn't think to go there, I would have been very angry. If I'd seen it after. Yes, Ordinary Gods. Glad I finally have it. The next trade is not coming out until August, and they're already. So what I do is I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I have all the issues that are out of this book so far. Like I'll get Volume 1, let's say 7 and 8 and 9 are out right now. I actually think they are. Still that case. So I get 7, 8, and 9. If I don't find 7, 8, and 9, for the longest time I was like, I'm not getting the trade. But this time around, I was like, dude, you're never gonna get this time. You're never gonna get this chance again. I had that kind of sinking feeling. If I don't get this now, I'm never gonna get it. They're gonna have it, or at this price at least. Someone else is gonna purchase it, you know. I need to. I was telling for the next 2 series, I also did the same thing. It's also by Kyle Higgins, Radiant Black Volume 2, Team Up, collecting, and then there's 6 issues like for Ordinary Gods. I said it was 1 through 6. Yes, Radiant Black is 7 to 12 for Volume 2, Team Up. Yep, Team Up. And then Volume 3, Rogues Gallery, collecting 13 to 18. Now, I was saying, so this is another series where where issue 19 was out, and I was gonna say, okay, if I don't find issue 19, I'm not getting this series. But I decided to say, to hell with that. You're always gonna be behind issues, so why not just do that? But I think it's easier to do it to say that because also I also got one of these for half off, which is nice. I got Volume 2 for half off, and I had 7, 8, and 9. I think it was something like that. Maybe issue 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. I had 2 issues left to get. Yeah, I could have gotten them digitally for $4, so I was like, you know what? Let's get the trade, and I'll sell those issues. So whoever wants random ass issues of Radiant Black. You never know, someone could be missing some issues for their entire run. But yes, Volume 2 and 3 of Radiant Black. Yeah, it's one of those things where and it kind of made sense. For the longest time. Sometimes it was like, oh, I don't have enough money to afford all these trades. Let's at least get the ones that are complete, and not ones where let's come back next time. I'm feel completed, It's good, It made it sound really weird. All right, next 3 is The Realm Volumes 1, 2, and 3. And I think Volume 1, they call it something different. I think it's just called The Realm Volume 1. Looks like it. Yeah, it's just called The Realm Volume 1. Volume 1 is 5 issues per volume. The Realm Volume 1 is 1 through 5. The Realm Volume 2 is 6 to 8. And The Realm Volume 3 is 11 to 15. I don't think they have. I shouldn't do that. So I want to see how the book ends. Let's do it here. No, they don't have the covers at the end or at the beginning. I don't get that. What is the appeal? Put them at the end. This is a thin ass book that I'm paid $10 for the first volume. But that's only because the Image Comics will always give you the first volume for free. Jesus Christ, that was bad. For $9.99. They'll always give you the first volume for $9.99. In the first issue for free. I think I was thinking that maybe. I don't know. But then after that, it's $16.99 full price. If I'm paying $16.99 for a thin book like this, 5 issues, at least give me the covers at the end. Why is that so hard for them to do? There's no hardcover. It's not like what they did with not Ordinary Gods, Oblivion Song. That the hardcovers, they have the covers at the end. Okay, fine. Hardcovers, they want to go all out with that. But there's no hardcover of The Realm. At least I don't think there is. It's not like a deal breaker. Like I said before, it's not a deal breaker for me. It's just why not do it? Why are you guys so against it? Why are you guys going to be so against it? Alright, so next 7 is probably the best purchase I have made in a long time. This was a series that I was dying to read for the longest time, and not dying to read, because I read the first 2 volumes. But ever since then, I was like, I want to buy the series. But then that was the most recent time. But I will give myself some credit. About a year ago, I wasn't so super into Monstress. I read the first 2 volumes. Wasn't too I didn't love the series. Then I reread it, like, it was like the third time rereading. I was like, okay, I want all the volumes of this now. And I don't care if my library has the first 6. They didn't have the 7th one at that point. They have all 7 now, my local library, but this is an ongoing. I know issue 42 is coming out in January, so. And when it's like that, and like I said before, like when I wrote this the last time, I don't think it's going to end at Volume 8. I think you're getting at least 10 volumes of this series. Yes. Monstress Volumes 1 through 8. 1 through 8. Yep, 1 through 8 made sense. Sorry, 1 through 7. 1 through 7, not 1 through 8. I did not get a super advanced copy of Volume 8. 1 through 7. I was on Volume 8, so I was thinking, you know. Alright. So Volume 1, The Awakening. Thick trade. They still were like, yeah, you know what? Almost a 200-page book. We're still gonna only charge you $10 for it, because we're Image Comics, not circa. I didn't say circa, but it was back in like 2016. Nowadays they make you pay like $19.99 for it, probably. Like, it's too much for $10. Because for the most part, an Image Comics Volume 1 will be $10. You know that we only wasn't that what's the furthest place from here? That was like over 200 pages. That makes sense. It was like 224, I think. It was a pretty thick trade, and because the first 3 issues were oversized. That makes sense to make you charge $20 for it. I wasn't too angry about that, but like I don't like it. Like Ordinary Gods Volume 1 was $16.99, and it's an ongoing. And it was the same size as Radiant Black Volume 1, which is $9.99. So, you know, sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I'm like, why is that one that? And it was like, oh, Kyle Higgins tax? No, because Radiant Black Volume 1, which is his most critically acclaimed series probably, next to, well, from Image at least, that was $10. So, makes no sense. But anyways, 1 through 6. And because the reason why this trade is so thick, I'm going to go over it again. I'll do artwork too. The artwork in this book is insanely good. This is what I want in my fantasy in the artwork for my fantasy books. If it's a comedy series, fine, make it a little bit more cartoony, but that's why I was so hesitant to get Birthright the longest time. Because I was thinking it'd be darker shadows, darker this, you know, to make it look like a fantasy book. And I do like the artwork now. I've come to appreciate the artwork for Birthright. The longest time I didn't get that book, or I didn't want to get that book because of the artwork. I was like, you know, this is weird artwork. And this is a prime example. This is all issue 1, 72 pages. But this is a prime example of what I want in my fantasy book. A great artwork, and it's a little wordy here and there, so maybe I want more action than words, but this is a damn good fantasy series if you are at all skeptical about getting it. I would say, I mean, the second hardcover is coming out like 2 weeks from now. But I would say just get the trades. You know, there's no hardcover. The hardcover is only covering, the second one is only covering 4 through 6. It's 3 volumes per hardcover. I would say just get the trades. You know, there's no. I mean, if you want, I would say like I'll give you this. Like, I understand the appeal behind oversized artwork, but if you don't have the entire series in the hardcover, at least the whole entire series so far, I'm like, let's get them all in trades. Alright. Volume 2, The Blood. Collecting... Oh, sorry, this is Volume 1. Volume 1, The Awakening, collecting 1 through 6 of Monstress. Volume 2, The Blood, collecting 7 through 12 of Monstress. There's 6 issues per volume. I think it's 7 for 1. Volume 3, Haven, collecting 13 to 18 of Monstress. See, I already said to myself, like, over what it was called, with Monstress Volume 3, Haven. And I was like, yeah, I did. So I probably did that for Monstress Volume 1. I just like being complete. I'm a completist in more ways than one. Alright, Monstress Volume 4, The Chosen, collecting 1924. Yep, 1924 of Monstress. Monstress Volume 5, which came in a little bit of shelfware, kind of, but at the top too. At the bottom, I don't care. So I'm doing this. I'm doing it back and forth, trying to get them out, and just hit it by accident just now. I get that, you know. That's at the bottom. That's always gonna be shelfware, no matter what. But top is always. I don't know why. Yeah, and this I have a bigger blemish than this. It's the exact same kind of blemish on a book that we've seen coming up. So I shouldn't really care no more. I don't care about this. If anything, it was the next one I cared a lot about. And I'll show you what I mean in a second here. So, Monstress Volume 5, War Child, collecting 25 to 30. Monstress Volume 6, The Vow, collecting 31 to 35, and Talk Stories 1 to 2. So it is 7 issues here, which is kind of funny because I wonder if Talk Story, no, because Talk Stories was an actual issue, it's a full-fledged issue, and paid full price of that issue. It wasn't like a half issue or anything like that. I don't think, at least. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right. So this is the blemish that I cared about for the longest time. Right there. That little indent. It was mainly because I've never seen a book come in that condition. So I was like, oh, what if the binding is going to be... What if the binding is going to be all screwed up now? You know, it's not going to be. It's like... Because if anything, that they have that there, and because of the eye, you know, that's almost, I feel like it made to be like that. So, like, if you go indent a little bit, it's fine. You know, it's not going to mess up the binding at all. I don't know why I thought that the longest time. I think that was why. Alright, Volume 7, Devourer, collecting issues 36 to 41. So 41 issues, actually 43, duh. 43 issues of Monstress collected in 7 volumes. I have a lot to read for that series. No, it's just lots like that. Next 3 is a series that now, at least for Monstress, it was an ongoing. It's an ongoing. So I get all 7 volumes. Yeah, my library has it, but it's an ongoing. So I might as well get all 7 volumes. And also, another reason why I waited so long to wait too long. Another reason why I decided to get all 7 volumes of Monstress, despite my library having all 7 volumes, I keep doing the thing where I'm like, oh, well, read the first 2 volumes, and then 3rd volume, by the time I get 3rd volume, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. I forget what's going on in the first 2 volumes. So I'm like, okay, you know, let's keep reading it, but... this way, I'll be like, you know what, I'm confused with what happened, remember what happened in the first volume? Let's go back and read that. I have it, so I'm like, let's go back and read it, you know? I can go at my own pace, too. Because they say Monstress is a very involved series. And I'm kind of getting, like, I'm not getting sick of it, but I'm kind of getting annoyed when I'm like, it's been so long since I've read the previous series issue. I'm like, oh, I forget, not previous volume, I forget what happened. I'm like, I forget what happened. And yeah, like, comic pop is there for me sometimes, like, because there's some books I'm reading along with them, so they're like, oh, this is what happens. Like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, I remember. I just think I'm like a bit of a refresh, but sometimes I forget entirely what happened in the book. Like, comic pop will be going over an issue I just read, and I'll forget something that happened. Like, oh, I forgot about that. I missed that. Anyways, next 3, it's an ongoing, but it's over. And they had 2 of the 3 volumes of Middlewest. Now, Middlewest is my favorite Scotty Young series so far that I've read from him. Everything else has kind of been lackluster to pretty good. I've not read his Strange Academy, though. His Strange Academy, they say, is really damn good. Like, everyone says that's really damn good. But not read that yet. Mainly because it's an ongoing, and my library has 3 volumes, but it's still going on, still going strong with the finale, though. So I'll probably wait till that finale volume comes out, then I'll get the series in the local library, read that. I mean, we'll see then. Yeah, they had the first 2 volumes, so they never had volume 3. So 6 issues per volume. Volume 1, I don't think they call it anything. Or book 1, rather. No, they don't. Book 1 collects 1 through 6. Book 2, 7 through 12. And Book 3, 13 to 18. So an 18-issue series in 3 volumes. And Volume 3, I just realized, has a pretty... Yeah, it's kind of part of it, like there. But that's not bad. Yeah, it's whatever. I always think of, like... because this is coming out, like, and you see it's coming out on this side, too. I always think that if that like, comes apart, like, this rips, and then the binding is going to get affected. All because that Spider-Girl book, that there was an indent like that, and that was the reason why the book was coming out. Like, it was, like, not indent, it's like the thing had come apart, like, there was a tear from the top of the book. The top of the book here was, like, a tear all throughout here. But it was, like, down to here, and the binding of the books, like, the pages were coming apart, and it was just till there. It wasn't a whole entire book. That's what I always think will happen to my books when I have that same kind of blemish. I still think that to this day, even though they probably just opened it further than it was supposed to be. Like you can see right here, that's as far as it gets opened. You know, if you open it any further, yeah, you're gonna run into some problems. That's as far as you should open the book. All right. Here is the 3-issue miniseries that was 80 pages. I'm like, how I can tell an entire story. I'm just gonna call this 1975. Here's the actual series, but it's the actual series. Here's the actual name, but that's the Roman numerals for 1975, and that's what they call it. Now this series, I'll go over what each book is about after. I always forget something. It's always something I forget. Yeah, it's already 35 minutes. So yeah, 1 through 3. Frontiersman 1 through 5, I'm pretty sure. For Volume 1, it was $10. The longest time, I was gonna get this stuff on Amazon. I was gonna get one with some other books. Like, yeah, do it. Put $10 book in there. It looks interesting enough. The artwork was pretty neat. I was like, yeah, let's get this. I mistakenly thought it was a fantasy book. It looks like a fantasy book. I'm flipping through the artwork for this book. The book itself, it looks like a fantasy, but it's saying it's a superhero. It's like a frontiersman superhero. Like he's like a lumberjack. All right, Lake of Fire. Pretty thick trade. It's only five issues. This was like recommended like to hell for me. Everyone was saying, "Oh, get the series." I love that they say historical sci-fi. It's the cover makes it look like fantasy, but it's historical, so it makes sense. But I would say fantasy sci-fi. Even again, flipping through this, I can't see I don't see sci-fi. I see fantasy. And again, it was Kieran Gillen and Robert Kirkman said, "Hey, pick up this book. It's the best of the year." Last two are thick trades, and I'm glad I got them. One of them not so much, but the other one I'm glad I got. This thick book, The Mighty, 12 issues plus 3 prequel stories and a bunch of extras. So I would say like 15 issues if you're counting each prequel story as an entire issue. Let's say it is. The Mighty. This is Peter J. Tomasi. It was originally it says Mad Ghost here, but it was originally Dark Horse, but then moved over to Image. I don't know why. I never understand why they do that. I don't know if they just sell them off like that. Peter J. Tomasi sold it off to Image. Maybe he likes Image more than Dark Horse. Maybe Image. Maybe he's hoping to get picked up at Image, like to get more issues out of it. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Maybe they give him more money for the book. I have no idea. But Peter J. Tomasi wrote by far one of the best Superman stories of all time in his Rebirth run. So when I heard this is a Superman book by Peter J. Tomasi, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it for Christmas. Wait that long because it's a pretty thick trade, and it's $24.99. But I was like, yeah, I want these books. I want these books instead. I want to get these before that. And it was still before I got Monstress. But then I saw it in Newberry, and I was like, you know what? Let's get it. Oh, and here's the indent. That right there. So that's worse than the Monstress Volume 5, and that's still fine. It says not showing up on the other side, so that's good. Yeah, 1 through 12. And it's like over, I think it's over 300 pages, only $24.99. This would be $39.99 at the very least from Marvel. Probably $44.99. Yes, yeah, it's like a Superman type story. I'll go over what each book is about when I go over it. There's not late now. This is Rain Like Hammers. I guess I gotta see where the issues are. I'm pretty sure it's 1 through 5. I got it for $10, which is like, damn. Each issue is like pretty long. I did find this. I did see this at a local library. It was not local library. It's G-Milk's one. So they did have it, but there's no excuse. I probably forgot it. But getting a book this, it's Rain Like Hammers. I don't know if I said that. Rain Like Hammers is a series, collecting 1 through 5 of Rain Like Hammers. It was also a series I always wanted to read, and each issue being pretty damn long. I'm like, am I really gonna want to be reading 44 pages of a book each issue? I'm already annoyed when a series that I'm on like has like a double sized issue, like a Sandman had a double sized issue, and I was kind of annoyed about that because I didn't know prior going into it, and I was like, oh, I'm already nicked for time because I want to read it for an hour, but I won't care as much. Okay, so that was the entire haul. 19 or 18. I really hope I remember them all. Here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. 18 floppies. And 21 trays. I'm pretty sure I remember to grab everything because I went through my entire pile of books. So it's my entire pile of new books. I kind of have Newbury has it, but not really because I don't have a books there. Like I have a pile that I'm reading currently. I have my library pile. I have my pile that I'm dumped in the library to return. I have a pile of I have my little like not shelves, but like bins where I put the books that I've read. I have bins where I just put books in general, and then I have stacks of books. I don't have enough room to fit them all in the bins. But I have. You might say, "Oh, why are you doing that? That's gonna ruin the book." Well, I'm pretty careful, as you know. All right, so let's go over what each book. I'm just gonna go over that from trades, not the floppies, because I don't know why. For those ones, that's just gonna take too long. Ordinary Gods is like I said before. He's a god. But he's in the real world now, and he has to go back to has to do unthinkable and being God again. And it's like past lives, and it seems pretty interesting. Hopefully it's at least interesting. Radiant Black is like superheroes. Seems to be almost seems to be like Power Rangers because you can see right here. Let's see. Yeah, it's like new villains coming. It's a superhero book, superhero story. If you liked, Robert Kirkman said if you liked Invincible, you'll like this. This is the new Invincible. It really is, because there's like with Invincible, there's 50 spin-offs. And hopefully like with Invincible, I don't have to read any of the spin-offs. I'll probably get some of them. Like some of them seemed interesting. One of them was $10, and it was a pretty thick trade. So I'll get that. At least it's got that going for it. The Realm is people being transported into a fantasy world and trying to get out of it and find their way out of it. It seemed very interesting. Jeremy wanted at least the artwork for this. But then you check here, and because it said artwork on the Amazon solicits, but it's created by him. And it's not saying, who's it written by? You don't know. It's weird. And that says it for everything. The issues, the volumes. There's no way of knowing who actually wrote the damn book. Unless you go by what Amazon says. And I think Goodreads, too. Monstress is like this this girl named Micah Half-Wolf. I think she's half-wolf, and it's the reason why she's called that. And it's a war between, she's stuck in between the war between the Arcanics and the Kumeya. Arcanics are like her, half human, half animal, and I think Kumeya are the regular people, I'm pretty sure. And just a very interesting series. The artwork is spectacular. Like I said, the artwork is spectacular. And I really want to check out their Night Eaters series. That's getting like widespread critical acclaim. My library has the first, not local library, Gmilk's library. Gmilk's is interloans they get from other libraries. I have 2 Gmilks and interloans. Gmilk's is the one they get really quick. Interloans is like, hey, we don't have it at Gmilk, so you have it here. But you gotta wait a little bit longer. Not too much longer. Sometimes it comes in before it's Gmilk's ones. Actually, I think one of them's coming in today, and it's interloans. Middlewest is like this father and son, and this father is like, as the mother dies, he turns into kind of a jerk, and then he turns into like a storm, and then he runs away from home, and then the father turns into a storm trying to find him, and he like runs away from home. It's like a fantasy book. He runs into this like circus people, and that's all I'm gonna say. I already gave away a bit too much. That's Middlewest. And then 1975 is this taxi driver with a tire iron. That's all they say. Fighting off fantasy peoples. They did. The reason why I got this is it was included in the Image Comics' fantasy guide, and it looks interesting enough. The artwork looks pretty good too. A bit minimalistic, but at least the cover looked good. But sometimes the cover art isn't the same as the art in the book itself. But 3 issues, like even if I despise this book, it's just 3 issues. So it's like you can't go wrong. But even though it says action and adventure on the back, it's a fantasy for an Image. As like Image officially said, it was fantasy. Frontiersman is about like a lumberjack superhero kind of thing. And he's like protected. It's like an environmental kind of book. And when I heard that, I thought it was fantasy. I thought it was just like he was a frontiersman. He was fighting off people with like an axe, like that. You know, like the axe, like that'd be kind of cool. But he's like fighting off tree monsters. You know, if I get that, I get that. Patrick Kinlan, I know nothing about. There was a series I wanted to get that I thought my local library had. They didn't. Again, Interloans. I should say Interloans. I thought Interloans had it. Didn't. Lake of Fire is... What is this? It's like 12... it's 1220 AD. It's like the Crusades, the war, and then like just alien spacecrafts landing, and sci-fi, fantasy, hybrid, probably, at the most. At most. They say it's historical sci-fi. I swear to God this was included in there. Image Comics' fantasy guide, but I checked the last time it was, and it was like double checked and triple checked. I just checked it yesterday. Yeah, 45 minutes. Oh, 1:49. All right. Now the Mighty is Superman, Evil Superman, which is a series that it's just a thing I never get tired of. I don't know why. Probably because I'm just because I haven't read enough of it. It's like The Boys, like the Irredeemable. But also written by Pierre J. Tomasi, so it's interesting to see how he does that. And finally, Rain Like Hammers. Now this artwork, I said, was very similar to the Headlopper. It kind of is. It's minimalistic, like how... Not minimalistic, yeah, I guess you call it minimalistic. It's not, it's like more cartoony, more like outlandish artwork. It's not like detailed artwork like Syndicated does for Monstress or anyone else did for any other books I got, pretty much. It's definitely the most out there artwork. Like if this was included in an anthology series. Let's say Monstress, Lake of Fire, and this were included in an anthology, along with, let's say, 1975 Joe Casey book, which is that Tire Iron story. This would be the most standout artwork. I would say, who does this artwork? That stands out more than any others do. And of course, I'd say the same for Monstress, but that would be the one I'd be like, whoa, that's different. Definitely the same artwork as the other guys. But Rain Like Hammers is like this guy. He's like turns into a butler. It's like he takes the form of a butler, I believe. Disguises himself. Yeah, transfigures his mind into a body of a genetically engineered butler. But it's like, how much of him will we name in this new form? Ooh, did not get the best of reviews, but I got for $10. You know, I can't go wrong with that. And there was no other books or $10 I wanted. I wanted to get like some. Yeah, it's the only way I was gonna get this one for half off. So I was like, yeah, why not? That, as they say, is that 47 minutes of me going over books. That should tell you how much I really enjoy talking about books. Really enjoy like doing this. I don't enjoy just saying, here's Monstress, let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's Middlewest 1 through 3. Yay. I like saying, hey, this is here that really wanted Monstress, Middlewest. It was 2 out of 3 that had my local library. It took forever to get it, and then finally did, and I'm happy now. I got it, yay! And there's probably a billion things I got to mention. But that, as they say, is that.